The phone rang at 12:03 a.m. Not the phone on the nightstand, the one Sophia sometimes silenced when Don Romano finally slept past midnight. This was the other one, the black one kept in the drawer of his study, the number known to fewer than 6 people alive. He was awake before the second ring. He always was. Sophia stirred beside him. "Don. Stay here." He was already moving, barefoot down the hallway, phone in hand, thumb hovering over the screen. No name showed. No number. Just a blinking cursor where a caller ID should have been, which meant only one thing: whoever was calling didn't want to be found, or wanted him to know they couldn't be found, which in his world amounted to the same warning. He answered in the study, door closed, lamp still off. "Who is this?" Silence on the other end. Not dead air, breathing. Slow, deliberate, the kind of silence a person holds when they want you to feel it. Don Romano. A voice, distorted slightly, run through something electronic. Male, or made to sound male. "You don't know me. But I know your daughter goes to Bellevue Primary. Room for B. Miss Calloway's class." Every muscle in his body went still, the particular stillness he'd spent 30 years perfecting, the one that looked like calm and was actually the opposite. "You have 30 seconds before I hang up," he said, voice flat, "and then you have a much shorter window to leave this city." A dry laugh crackled through the line. "I'm not calling to threaten Emma. I'm calling because someone else is planning to." Don Romano sat down slowly at his desk, the phone pressed hard against his ear. "Talk. There's a man in your organization. Close. Closer than you'd like. He's been selling information to the Varga family for the last 4 months. Schedules. Routes. Who goes where and when. Including your daughter's school. Names. That's not how this works." The voice paused, and in that pause, Don Romano could hear something else: traffic, maybe, or wind, someone outside, somewhere with no walls to muffle the world. "I give you a name, you kill him before I get what I want. I want to disappear. Clean. New papers, new city, enough money to make sure the Vargas can't find me. You give me that, I give you the name before your daughter's bus route changes again next Tuesday. How do I know this isn't the Vargas themselves, feeding me noise to waste my time while the real plan moves forward? You don't. That's the deal. That's always the deal, isn't it? You've made it 100 times yourself, from the other side." The line went dead. Don Romano sat in the dark for a long moment, phone still in hand, the glow of the screen the only light in the room. Then he heard the study door creak. Sophia stood in the doorway, arms wrapped around herself, the hallway light behind her turning her into a silhouette. Who was it? Wrong number. Don. He looked at his wife, and for once, didn't reach for the practiced calm that came so easily to him with everyone else. "Someone knows Emma's classroom." Sophia's hand went to the doorframe, steadying herself against something that had no physical weight. "How?" "I don't know yet. That's the problem." He stood, already moving toward the safe behind the bookshelf, fingers working the combination from memory. "There's a leak. Someone close." "How close?" He didn't answer, because he didn't know, and not knowing was worse than any answer could have been. By 12:30, the house had changed shape without anyone in it visibly moving. Victor arrived within 11 minutes of a single text message, dressed as though he'd never been asleep at all, maybe because he hadn't. 2 more men took up positions outside, one near the garden wall, one by the front gate, silent shapes against the dark. Lucas appeared at the top of the stairs, pulled from sleep by voices he wasn't meant to hear. "What's happening?" "Go back to bed," Sophia said. "Someone's outside." "I heard them." "Lucas." Don Romano's voice cut through, not unkind, but final. "Your mother asked you to go back to bed." Lucas didn't move. "Is it about Emma?" The question landed harder than he could have known. Don Romano crossed the room and stood at the bottom of the stairs, looking up at his son, 12 years old and already reading a room full of adults trying to hide something from him. "We don't know yet," he said, because after the notebook, after everything, he'd promised himself he wouldn't lie to this particular child the way his own father had lied to him. Someone called. They said they have information about a threat. "We're checking if it's real." "Is Emma safe right now?" "She's asleep in her room, 20 feet from where you're standing, and there are 2 armed men outside this house right now who exist for exactly this reason." Lucas absorbed that, jaw tight, and finally nodded, retreating back toward his room, though not without one last glance over his shoulder, the look of someone filing away another piece of a picture he was slowly being allowed to see. At 2 a.m., Victor returned from checking the perimeter, rain darkening the shoulders of his coat. Nothing outside. No vehicles, no signals, nothing on the cameras past the tree line. "That doesn't mean nothing's there." "No," Victor agreed. "It doesn't." Don Romano stood at the window of his study, looking out at the dark shape of the garden, the same junipers Lucas had stared at a week before, standing their same silent watch. "Tomorrow," he said, "we go through every man who's had access to Emma's schedule in the last 4 months. Teachers, drivers, staff at the house. Everyone. That's a long list. Then we start now." Behind him, the black phone sat on the desk, dark and silent, waiting, the way it always did, for whoever held the next piece of the puzzle to decide when to call again. Somewhere out in the city, a man who claimed he wanted only to disappear was deciding exactly that, and whether the price of Emma's safety would come in the form of a name, a trap, or something far worse, no one in that house would know until the phone rang again.